we have in my opinion, the best goalie in the world. So the Rangers will be in the playoffs again. So it'll be one of those things where could they actually get over the hump this time, and we'll see.
I love you, man. I really do. The best goalie in the world.
He is.
Well, you forgot about a goalie that plays for the Islanders too, Ilya Sorokin.
Sorokin's great, but I think you're out of your mind.
How am I out of my mind? Look at Sorokin's record against him. Look at Sorokin's record in the KHL.
Head-to-head matchup versus, in non-pressure games.
Stop. They haven't played in the playoffs yet against one another. And when they did in the KHL in the championship, who won? So
we're now going to rate.
Hey, listen. We went with the Saquon Barkley. I'm not going to. Well, we could go back and forth on this. For you to say that Sorokin, the Rangers have the best goalie in the world. Now, I like him. I think he's a great goaltender. He's one of the top 3, top 4 goalies. But to say that he's the best goalie in the world, this year he didn't prove that. And by the way, there were spots all season long where he was giving up really bad goals. And to me, I love what they did with Jonathan Quick. Jonathan Quick is a great goalie. He's a great backup.
Oh, see, I disagree with that completely.
Why? You don't think he's a good backup?
Oh, no. Jonathan Quick, he was miserable for the Kings. Bring him back to almost the same money and letting Halak go. And I know Halak started off like
Halak stinks.
Or whatever it was. But he was fine the rest of the way. I think Quick is just it was basically like, oh, you grew up a Rangers fan in Connecticut, wherever. Like, let's just bring you in. I wouldn't really love that Jonathan Quick move. But,
well, first of all, Jonathan Quick won a Stanley Cup. Actually, won 2 Stanley Cups, and he was a big part of the reason why they did that. And to help out maybe the young goaltender and give him some pointers as a goalie right now. And you say an elite goalie in the league, it doesn't hurt to have Jonathan Quick on the bench, and he's going to give you maybe good quality starts. I think Jonathan Quick is a good goalie. He's not the same goalie he once was when he won those Stanley Cups, but he's still a guy that understands how to win them. And by the way, Peter Laviolette is a great hire. He is a fantastic hire. I think he's been the best hire for any of the Ranger coaches that they've had. But look how many Ranger coaches they've had in the last, 7 years? It hasn't been good for the Rangers. And by the way, Panarin is an overrated player. The guy does not show up in the playoffs. He's not shown up in the playoffs. And half of these players, they're great regular season players, but when it comes to the playoffs, they just don't produce. And that's why the Devils outplayed them in the first round. They're young, they're fast, and they're even better than they were last year, adding the pieces that they added. So I think the Rangers are not going to be as good, especially the first year with Peter Laviolette, as they were last year with Gallant, which I thought they pushed Gerard Gallant out a lot quicker than I thought they should have. The year before, they were one of the best teams in the league. And now the second year, they decide, hey, you know what? We're going to part ways with him because, I don't know, Chris Drury doesn't get along with him.
Yeah, I think that he's a guy that his track record shows that he, is good for a couple seasons, and then he kind of loses the locker room. I think Labs at least is a guy that, if you read all the stuff that the Flyers talked about him and the year that they who they lose to, I think they lost to the Blackhawks. He turned everything around for them. They loved him. And I think that's something that we needed because Gallant definitely did not really get along with some players. The coach before him, Quinn, that definitely didn't get along with some players. So, there's just been they tried, let's go the college route. Let's go to the guy that did win a cup. Let's go to, Vigneault almost won a cup. And so it just, I don't love the retread. I think I would have been fine with promoting maybe Knobloch from the AHL or trying a younger guy in the bench somewhere else and an assistant that would work. I can't argue with you that Panarin didn't show up at all in the playoffs. Mika Zibanejad, same thing. He's a guy that's definitely more of a power play player.
I like Mika. They need to keep him.
But I think the defense, I think their bottom 6 will be a lot better. I think their defense will be a lot better, which will make life a lot easier for Igor. So I do think the Rangers will be, if you still want to put the Hurricanes and Devils ahead of the Rangers like it was this year, that's fine. I still think the Rangers, they're still going to be a playoff team. The Devils, the big game was game 3, losing that in overtime. The Rangers had 5 power play chances, didn't convert on 1. If they converted on 1, that series was 3-0. Then the series is over and the Rangers advance. And then they play a Hurricanes team who was banged up, who are missing some of their top guys, and the Rangers just don't ever lose to the Hurricanes. So, the NHL playoffs is such a fickle beast because you don't know which way it could turn. And obviously, if they did advance, then who would have known what could have happened? We could have been having a different conversation right now. But ultimately, not upset with how this the season turned out. It was great to see the Golden Knights win one.